Have you ever made a small decision, one that didn't seem important at the time, but years later, you found yourself wishing you had done things differently? Maybe you skipped a doctor's appointment. Maybe you let a good friendship fade. Maybe you told yourself, I'll deal with that later. As we get older, every choice, big or small, seems to echo louder. The habits we keep, the things we avoid, the way we treat our bodies and relationships, none of it disappears. It all stacks up, and sooner or later, it shapes the way we feel in our 70s, 80s and beyond, something that felt harmless in our 50s or 60s, like ignoring an ache in your back or keeping silent when you should have spoken up, can quietly shape the kind of life we end up living. In this video, I'm going to share 8 surprisingly common mistakes older adults make, mistakes that slowly steal happiness, freedom, and peace of mind. These aren't the obvious things you've already heard. They're the quiet habits that creep in without you noticing. And here's the good news. If you catch them early, you can turn things around. Even changing just one of these mistakes can save you years of regret and help you live a stronger, more joyful life. So, let's get started. Mistake number 1, neglecting social connections. One of the biggest mistakes many older adults make, without even realizing it, is letting their social world shrink. It usually doesn't happen all at once. Retirement comes, the kids move away, friends get busy or move to new places. Some pass on. Suddenly, the calendar that used to be filled with birthdays, dinners, and get-togethers grows quieter. At first, the quiet feels like rest, a weekend at home instead of out and about. But slowly, weekends turn into weeks, weeks turn into months. And that quiet, it turns into something heavier, loneliness. And loneliness isn't just an emotion, it's dangerous. Studies show that chronic loneliness is as harmful to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It raises the risk of heart disease, depression, memory decline, and even early death. And the hardest part is, you don't usually see it coming. It doesn't announce itself. It creeps in through little choices, skipping one gathering, ignoring a phone call, telling yourself, they probably don't want to hear from me. Let me share Walter's story. Walter, 82, used to play cards with his neighbors every weekend. After a small fall, he told himself he'd just take a break for a few weeks. But those weeks turned into months. His phone stopped ringing. His weekends turned silent. He told himself he liked the peace. But deep inside, he missed the laughter, the jokes, the simple feeling of being remembered. Walter wasn't miserable, but he wasn't fully alive either. The truth is, you don't need a big circle of friends. You just need connection. One phone call, one lunch, one book club. Just one reason to feel included. Because when we stop connecting with others, we don't just lose them. We lose pieces of ourselves. And there's no age limit on friendship. There's no expiration date on laughter. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't facing illness. It's picking up the phone and saying, I was thinking of you. Mistake number 2, ignoring health until it's too late. The second mistake many older adults make is treating health like something to worry about later. Too often, we skip annual checkups. We put off screenings. We ignore small aches and pains, telling ourselves, that's just old age. But here's the reality. Small problems rarely stay small. That stiff knee can slowly steal your mobility. That shortness of breath can be an early sign of heart trouble. Skipping dental checkups? That can lead to infections that spread through your whole body. And once the damage is done, it's much harder to fix. Think about how many times you've heard someone say, I wish I'd gone to the doctor sooner. Let me tell you about Susan. Susan was 74. Her doctor had warned her to stay active, but she brushed it off. I feel fine. Why bother? But little by little, her muscles weakened. Her balance slipped. One day, she tripped over a rug and broke her hip. Her recovery was long, painful, and it completely changed her independence. And every step of the way, she said the same thing. I wish I had listened earlier. And Susan's story isn't rare. It's one of the most common regrets seniors have. But here's the good news. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to take small, consistent steps. A short daily walk, drinking more water, stretching for balance, eating real, nourishing food, and keeping up with regular checkups. This isn't about looking young again. It's about protecting your freedom. The freedom to travel, to play with grandkids, to live life on your terms. Ignoring your health doesn't just shorten your life. It shrinks your world. Mistake number 3, holding on to grudges. The third mistake is one that eats away at peace in silence, carrying old anger into your later years. Maybe someone betrayed you. Maybe a sibling said something that cut deep. Maybe a misunderstanding created a wall that never came down. Time doesn't heal all wounds, not on its own. What time does is give us more years to carry the weight if we choose not to let it go. And that weight shows up everywhere. Old grudges make us bitter, even when we don't mean to be. They cloud our joy. They keep us from enjoying the present. And the stress doesn't just stay in your mind, it shows up in your body. Higher blood pressure, tighter muscles, restless sleep. There's an old saying, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. Let me share Frank's story. Frank, a 78-year-old retired school principal, hadn't spoken to his brother in over 30 years. The fight? A bitter inheritance dispute. Every holiday, Frank would say, if he wants to talk, he knows where I live. But deep down, Frank was the one suffering. His pride kept the door shut, but in quiet moments, he wondered what life would have been like if he had just picked up the phone. Forgiveness doesn't mean pretending nothing happened. It doesn't mean agreeing with the hurt. It means choosing peace over pride. It means deciding your remaining years are too valuable to waste on anger. You don't have to call them. You don't have to see them. But you can release that bitterness. For your own health, for your own joy, for your own freedom. Because forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you. Mistake number 4, living without a sense of purpose. The fourth mistake that leaves many older adults restless is letting go of purpose after retirement. When the job ends, the kids grow up and the calendar empties. It's easy to think, well, I've done my part. Now I'll just relax. And at first the rest feels good. Sleeping in, watching TV, long lunches. But after a while the days start to blur. The weeks feel empty. And life begins to feel less like living and more like waiting. Purpose isn't just for the young. It's the fuel that makes every day meaningful. It's the reason to get out of bed with energy. Without purpose, the days get quiet. Too quiet. Many people think purpose has to be something big. Volunteering everywhere, writing a book, starting a new business. But often purpose is found in small things. Teaching your grandchild how to garden, visiting a neighbor who lives alone, organizing old family photos, sharing stories that carry wisdom forward. It's not about what you have to do. It's about what makes you feel alive, useful, and connected. Take Helen, for example. Helen was 76 and had just retired from her librarian job. At first, she enjoyed her freedom, but slowly, she drifted into long, quiet days of television and solo lunches. She told herself she was resting, but deep down, something was missing. Then a neighbor mentioned a local children's reading program. Helen signed up thinking it would just pass the time. But once she started, she felt something light up again. Reading to kids once a week gave her joy, energy, and a sense of purpose she hadn't felt in years. We all need to feel needed. We all need to know our presence matters, that we're still building, still creating, still shaping the world in some way. Purpose doesn't have to be grand, it just has to be yours. And when you find it, life stops being about counting the days and starts being about making the days count. Mistake number 5, not talking about finances money. It's one of the hardest topics to bring up as we age. Some people avoid it because they don't want to burden their children. Others avoid it because they're embarrassed, or because it feels too late to change things. But here's the truth. Silence about money creates stress, not just for you, but for your family too. Many older adults end up in situations they never planned for. Unexpected medical bills, rising living costs, or needing care at home. And when the finances aren't talked about, the stress grows heavier. Let me tell you about Margaret and Jim. They lived comfortably, but they never shared financial details with their adult kids. When Jim passed away suddenly, Margaret was left scrambling to figure out paperwork, bank accounts, and debts she didn't even know existed. The family spent months piecing it all together, and the stress stole precious time they could have spent grieving and supporting each other. You don't need to be rich to plan. You just need to be honest. Having conversations about wills, savings, insurance, and care preferences doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're protecting your peace, and your families too. The earlier you talk, the smoother everything becomes later. Because in the end, money isn't just about numbers. It's about freedom, dignity, and leaving love behind instead of confusion. Mistake number 6, refusing to ask for help. Another common mistake is trying to do everything alone. As we age, pride often whispers, "Don't be a burden," so we hide our struggles. We avoid asking for a ride. We keep quiet about pain. We push ourselves to prove we're still independent, even when it hurts. But here's the secret. Asking for help doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. Think of John. John was 81 and prided himself on mowing his lawn every week. But one hot summer afternoon, he pushed himself too hard. He collapsed from heat exhaustion and ended up in the hospital. His daughter later said, "Dad, if you had just asked, I would have helped." You don't have to prove anything to us. The truth is, people want to help. Loved ones feel honored when you trust them with your needs. And small help now can prevent big emergencies later. Asking for help isn't giving up independence, it's protecting it. Because the sooner you lean on others for small things, the longer you can stay strong for the big things. And sometimes, asking for help gives others a sense of purpose too. It reminds your children, friends, and neighbors that they matter in your life. Mistake number 7, ignoring mental health. When we think of aging, we often focus on physical health, aches, mobility, energy. But one of the most silent mistakes is ignoring mental health. Depression, anxiety, and memory issues often get brushed off as just getting older. But they're not just part of aging, they're health conditions that deserve care. Just like diabetes or high blood pressure. Here's the truth. Your mind needs as much care as your body. Take Carol's story. Carol, 72, started feeling down after her husband passed away. She told herself it was normal grief. But months turned into years, and the sadness never fully lifted. She stopped painting, stopped traveling, stopped saying yes to invitations. Her family thought she was just slowing down with age, but really she was living with untreated depression. When she finally spoke to her doctor and joined a support group, her spark slowly returned. She laughed again. She started painting again. Life felt lighter. Too many seniors suffer in silence because they think their feelings don't matter or won't change. But caring for your mental health can add not just years to your life, but life to your years. Talking to someone, joining a group, or simply admitting, "I'm not okay right now," is not weakness. It's courage. Mistake number 8, forgetting to live in the present. The last mistake is one of the most heartbreaking, forgetting to live in the moment. Some people spend their later years looking backward, replaying regrets or wishing they could relive better days. Others spend them looking forward, worrying about what might go wrong tomorrow. But in both cases, they miss the only time they truly have. Right now. Life isn't measured in years, It's measured in moments. The laughter at dinner, the warmth of the sun on your face, the quiet joy of holding someone's hand. Take Eleanor, 85. Every day she sat by the window and worried about her health. What if I get sick? What if I fall? What if I become a burden? Her daughter once asked, "Mom, do you realize that while you're worrying about tomorrow, you're missing today? Look outside. The flowers are blooming, and you're not even seeing them." That moment was a wake-up call. Eleanor started practicing gratitude, just writing down 3 things she noticed each day. And slowly, her focus shifted from fear of tomorrow to joy in today. We can't control the past. We can't predict the future, but we can live fully in the present. And when we do, every day becomes a gift, not a countdown. Closing thoughts. So, let's recap. The 8 silent mistakes that steal happiness in old age are: neglecting social connections, ignoring health until it's too late, holding on to grudges, living without purpose, not talking about finances, refusing to ask for help, ignoring mental health, forgetting to live in the present. The beautiful truth is, it's never too late to change course. Whether you're 55, 75, or 95, you can take one step today that will make tomorrow brighter. Call a friend. Schedule that checkup. Forgive someone. Start a small project. Ask for help. Open up about your feelings. Or simply pause and notice the moment you're in. Aging doesn't have to mean shrinking. It can mean growing, wiser, lighter, freer, and the choice is in your hands. So I'll leave you with this. Don't let these silent mistakes steal your joy. Instead, let every choice you make from today forward be one that adds not just years to your life, but life to your years.